Hey, friend, Church D coming at you once again. Thank you for tuning into What Does It Take to Win? You guys must really like this podcast because you've made it to episode number 17, which is pretty cool. I didn't expect to be talking this much because if you know me in real life, I barely say anything, so this is just a major blessing. But let's get it started. So before we jump into things, I just want to say if you'd like to purchase my music or stream it or even just look at it and share it and say, hey guys, check out this dude. You can find me online anywhere on all digital outlets. Just type in my name, Church D. So it's Church as in CHURCHDEE. And you can check out my latest project by the name of The Big Reveal. It's my latest EP, available on all platforms. Let's go back to March 2020. Let's check out The Vision. That was the single that I put out, first single of 2020, available on every platform. And let's go back a little bit further to May 2019 for my first full-length album by the name of The Cactus Bare Minimum 2.0, also available on all platforms. Anywhere you get your music, you can find these projects. So yeah, let's not keep you waiting too long. I have a pretty cool topic this week, and it's entitled Listen Closely. So we're going to be examining the power of listening and how it can be used to help one obtain success, because that's what this whole podcast is about. It's about helping people obtain success, be successful, and win in life. What does it take to win, right? Cool beans. So I have 4 points this week. I'm not going to keep you too long. I know the previous weeks, the previous episodes, they were kind of long. And, I just had a lot of valuable information to get out to you guys. So this time it's still valuable, but it's not going to be as long. So just bear with me. So the first point is that listening will help you to avoid misunderstandings that can lead to major issues. So that's why it's important. The second point would be to listen and be aware of your surroundings, because sometimes the very answer you're looking for comes from just listening. The third point that I think is very, very important is to take your time before you respond. And the fourth and final point is how listening can help with healing. Healing is super important because you can't move on and be great unless you're healed. You never see a wounded soldier jump back into war and try to fight, like if he has a broken leg or if his arm is blown off or something. That's just not the way it works. So that's pretty important. So yeah, let's start with point number 1. And how listening can help you to avoid small understandings. I don't have my notes on me right now, and I just don't feel like going to look for it. So you could Google this on your own if you want, or you can fact check me and correct me if I'm wrong. But listening is actually 55% of communication. The bulk of communication is actually nonverbal. Communication, the smallest part of communication is actually talking. So we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, And like I said, listening helps you to avoid small misunderstandings that can lead to major issues. So I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, somebody was trying to reach out to me. They had sent a message through another individual, and they said, hey, could you get in contact with this man because I have something that's very important that I need to run by him. And so when I saw that message, I'm like, okay, what does that mean? So immediately, by nature, I guess the human side of me, because we all are guilty of this, the human side of me started coming up with these different ideas and different scenarios of negativity. Like, okay, perhaps they want to do this to me, or they want to say this to me, or they just want to treat me unfairly, or whatever the case may be. It was just a lot of negativity going through my mind at that point. I haven't even spoken to this person. I don't know what it was they wanted to say to me. So I told myself, I was like, all right, man, calm down. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. Let's just listen and let's see what this person wants. So I reached out to them. I gave them a call. I said, hi, how's it going? I heard you're trying to get in contact with me. What's up? Come to find out, this person actually had something that they wanted to gift me with, so to say, something that would be used to enhance a project that I'm actually working on. And so I just kind of chuckled at that, like, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. The point I'm making here is listen. That could have turned for the worse. It could have been a complete misunderstanding. I could have took that message in a negative way, like what my brain was telling me to do, and responded to the person who gave me that message and said, oh, well, you know what? If this person wants to say something to me, they can reach out, or they can They can stop going through a middleman or whatever the case may be. But I took time out and I wanted to hear what it was they were going to say. I listened. And so that stopped the small misunderstanding. So the second point is to listen and be aware of your surroundings. Sometimes the very answer you're looking for comes from just listening, keeping your ears perked up and hearing what's being said around you. It's like being a musician or even being an entrepreneur. You'll be able to take inspiration and draw creativity just from the things around you. I know for myself, being both a musician and an entrepreneur, I try to find my muse like any and everywhere because sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And it's like, okay, why can't I create, whether it's a new service or whether it's some music? So, for example, you know, sometimes when you're just out in public or anywhere doing your thing, you could be at a coffee shop, you could be at the gym, at a barbershop, whatever the case may be. You just listen to what people are saying. I've gotten so many great ideas just from listening. And it's not really like eavesdropping if they're talking loud enough for you to hear it. If they don't want you to hear it, then they would talk softly, right? But seriously, so as an entrepreneur, I'd come up with some really cool ideas like, okay, I think I can do this. But then it's like, well, I don't necessarily have all the steps in the beginning stage. It's like I'd have to go back home and figure out how can I make this come to life? Is this even possible? And I found that a lot of times when I'm just at the right place at the right time, uh, somebody would say, hey, this is how I did this. And I'm like, yo, I was just thinking about that. All right. So right then and there, I'd either research it if I had the time, or I'd go home, or I'd jot down a note and I would go home and do my research and then see that, okay, this is totally doable. And this is how to do it. And I would just bring it into fruition. So be aware and listen. Be aware of your surroundings and just listen. Keep your ears perked. Keep your ears to the ground or to the streets or whatever the saying is. But just listen. And even if it doesn't have to do with building a brand or creating something like as an entrepreneur or a musician or whatever you may be into, sometimes you just need to like get a word that's going to make you feel better. That's when you listen to God, of course. But sometimes he uses people around you to speak to you and say, yo, it's going to be all right. Or, hey, why don't you try it this way? You never know. In fact, I feel like that's what happens with me when I get stuck and it's like, okay, I have this great idea of how to be an entrepreneur or how to start this new service or product, but I don't know. I don't have the steps. Boom, somebody just starts talking about it out the blue. So just keep your ears open, listen, be aware of your surroundings, and you'll be good to go. So moving on to point number 3, take your time before responding. Another crucial point, be slow to speak. Make sure you have a full understanding of perspective, a full understanding of the overall situation before you respond to it. If we respond to something very quickly, just out of emotion, without doing the full research or even just hearing out what the other person is trying to say, we will end up looking foolish. And I don't know about you guys, but I hate looking foolish. I'd like to be smart all the time. Granted, we make mistakes here and there. Nobody's perfect. I understand that. But you don't have to make yourself look foolish. You can just sit back and listen. Okay, if somebody has a point that you don't agree with, all right, you can sit back and listen to their reasoning behind it. Why do you believe this way? Okay, now I understand. And so then you can take your time out and figure out, okay, either this person is way off and the way they're thinking needs to be corrected, or they make a valid point, but I still don't agree with it. And so I'm not going to react out of emotion. And speaking of emotion, this is actually a good segue to my fourth and final point of how listening helps with healing. Sometimes when we go through painful, heartbreaking situations, it's not so much that we just want to get over it and try to vent about it, but sometimes we just need somebody to talk to. And I believe this goes for everybody. If you deal with something, you'll feel a lot better when you talk about it. And you don't always need somebody to say something back to you, or even to side with you. But sometimes you just need to get it off your chest. You just need somebody to share your experiences with, even if it's not necessarily negative. But, let's say good news happens to you. something good news. Let's say something good happens to you and you're so excited you just can't keep it bottled up and you got to tell somebody. So that's good stuff. But back to the healing part of it. Yeah, we go through traumatic experiences. We go through situations where it's like, oh no, I feel awful. I need to talk with somebody about it. This is where a good listener comes in. You could be that good listener, or you could be talking to the good listener, and it allows you to get whatever's on your chest off your chest. Whether it's, like I had mentioned, a situation that's making you feel awful, or even if it's good news, or say you have a brand new idea, but you're not quite sure about the steps to take in order to make it come into fruition. Like I said earlier with my other point, how you can just listen to your surroundings and just be aware of what's going on. Sometimes just talking to a good listener, and this listener might not even be saying anything back to you, it can open your eyes and let you know, okay, well, this is what I can do for my future endeavors. This is how I can make my business flourish and come to pass. Just by talking about it, just by saying these words out of your mouth to a good listener can open up doors, or you could be that good listener and let that person talk, and you'll see that, oh, okay, I've helped you just by not even saying anything. Give me a 25% cut of your business. No, sorry, I'm just playing. But yeah, it's very important to listen because it helps with healing. That went a little bit left and a little bit off topic, but I think you see where I'm trying to go with that. It's important to listen because, as I can continue to stress it, it helps with healing. You get whatever is on your chest off your chest. Whatever is bottled up inside, you get to talk it out. You'll feel 1,000 pounds lighter than normal. So, yeah, that's my fourth and final point. Let's do a quick recap since I didn't keep you guys too long this time. So, point number one, why it's important to listen carefully and slowly, is that it will help you to avoid small misunderstandings that can lead to major issues. Remember, communication is about 55% listening. Point number two is to listen and be aware of your surroundings. Sometimes the very answer you're looking for can come from leaving your ears open and being aware. Point number three is to take your time before responding. Don't just respond to respond and have all the right answers, especially if you don't have full understanding of the situation. Be careful and listen. And the fourth and final point is that listening helps with healing. Be a good friend. We can't always keep everything bottled up on the inside. Listen to what your friends have to say, and you'll see they'll feel a lot better. And then when it's your turn, they'll be able to do the same for you. Thank you for all of your time today. Thanks for tuning in to this podcast. I hope it blessed you. I hope it encouraged you. I hope it inspired you. Hey, if you like it, be sure to click the share button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube at Church D. Check out my website. I'll put the link in the description below. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.